What's up, fight fans? Welcome to Mr. Mustache MMA News. Today, got some breaking news for you guys. But before we get to it, don't forget to like and subscribe and click the little bell button so I can keep making content for you guys consistently so you guys can get the best MMA news out there. Thank you, guys. All right, guys, so getting right into it. UFC 274, May 7th. Seems like it's going to be headlined by Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira versus Justin "The Highlight" Gaethje. Very fucking exciting. I was sweating. Most of the MMA community was sweating. Justin Gaethje himself seemed to be sweating over the fact that Conor McGregor might be leapfrogging him for that title shot against Charles, especially when Charles pretty much called out Conor McGregor and said he wanted that Conor McGregor money. So that had everybody pretty much nervous, and we all know that the UFC isn't below doing money fights over the purest fight, over the number one contender fight. Usually they're known for taking the big name over the guy who deserves it more than anybody, which is fucking crazy because Justin Gaethje in the MMA community, and even almost in the casual community, is a huge fucking name himself. So moving forward, this fight seems to be official. Please, MMA gods, don't fuck us on this one. This is very exciting. You got Charles Oliveira, who has that new champion mindset after moving the lightweight, hasn't lost in about a little over 4 years since he had that TKO loss to Paul Felder. He's beat the fuck out of everybody since then, 10-fight win streak, especially with his wins against Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier. I mean, he's really pulled the metaphorical shit out of his ass almost every single time. You might as well call him Mr. Slave. Lemmy Winks is getting pulled out time and time again. Like he said, he's seeing three guys when he's going out there. He's half blind when he fights. He gets pieced the fuck up. Then he somehow gets a hold of them, takes it over. Or his revamped striking game also is just so versatile and devastating. I think he has people so worried about his well-rounded world-class jiu-jitsu game. I mean, he has the most subs in the history of the UFC, and I'm pretty sure he might even be the finish king now over Donald Cerrone in UFC history. Charles, what he's been able to do, he's only 32 years old. What he's been able to put together in the last 4 years has just been remarkable. He has silenced all the doubt. He was that guy who was considered to quit. And really, I think that was just a weight cut issue. And I think I think he was able to finally round out that striking ability that he somewhat lacked. When he fought those elite strikers, especially in the featherweight division, when he was cutting all that weight, it really didn't play out well for him. Yeah, I think he missed weight 4 times as a featherweight. Hasn't missed weight once since he's moved up to lightweight. So it really just seems like he's found his place. He's found his weight class. He really is that guy who's one of the best in the world. And when he first came into the UFC, he was considered one of the best in the world and one of the best prospects coming up. But when it always came down to him fighting those elite of the elite, those super well-rounded guys in the featherweight division, like Max Holloway, Cub Swanson, Frankie Edgar, they put a stop to Charles really quick. And he was that guy who was known to quit. And since then, he's been able to turn all that around. He's rounded out his game. He can knock you out. He can choke you out. He can break your fucking arm. And it was really apparent because, like, he was on a nice streak when he beat, I think it was Jared Gordon, Nick Lentz, and I think David Tamer. You know, it was a really nice streak. Everybody's like, okay, well, now let's throw him back into that upper echelon of the lightweight division. It seems like he's a new guy. And when he choked out Clay Guida, that was really nice. But it was that win against Kevin Lee where everyone's like, okay, all right, now it's time. Like, at the time, Kevin Lee was riding all that hype with that head kick knockout that he had over Gregor Gillespie. And Charles took all that from him. It was right before COVID. I think it was the last event, right before everything shut down. Charles Oliveira took that from him, and then he was able to follow that up with a fading out Tony Ferguson, if you will. I mean, he dominated Tony Ferguson from start to finish of that fucking fight. It was so depressing to watch as a Tony Ferguson fan. Oh, that one hurt. But that's where Charles showcased how he was able to eliminate someone's game for 15 minutes and use his game. I mean, it was just full domination from beginning to end, world class, didn't make any mistakes, capitalized on every mistake that Tony Ferguson made. It was just fucking beautiful. You know, and then, he had that fight against Michael Chandler where Michael Chandler just showed that he had to be the bully in that fight. And early on, it really looked like Michael Chandler was going to be the new UFC lightweight champion. But Charles Oliveira, the second round, said, fuck all that shit, pulled Lemmy Winks out of his ass, put an end to Michael Chandler with that TKO. I mean, he shut the lights out on Michael Chandler. It was very impressive. And what he did against Dustin Poirier just a few months back showed no doubt on what the fuck Charles Oliveira is all about. He can do it half blind. He can do it half unconscious. He can do it from anywhere. It's like he tries to play that game with people just to prove a point that he can strike with the best. And when it doesn't go his way, which it really hasn't against those elite strikers, he goes straight to his bread and butter. He gets the job done, doesn't fuck around, and that's exactly what he did against Dustin Poirier. It's exactly what he did against Michael Chandler. I mean, he really showed that, you know what, I'm not going to let anybody bully me anymore. And that was the most important aspect of Charles Oliveira's career, the confidence, knowing deep down he really is that good. He just has to push on that extra gear that he didn't know he had early on. Now that he's coming to that man strength, that full, well-rounded game, he's become that guy that even people are now starting to talk about him being the lightweight GOAT, which I think is a little bit much. He's got to do a little bit more. He's got to beat Gaethje, and I think he's got to get a couple more defenses after that before you can even start talking about that, because Khabib, he never lost. So who even knows? And I don't think Khabib's coming back. Don't even entertain that. But today we're here to talk about Justin Gaethje going against Charles Oliveira. And what Gaethje has been able to do since coming into the UFC, he was that undefeated prospect. I remember watching his fight against Michael Johnson live, being like, what the fuck? That was a day that I became a hardcore fan, like straight the fuck up. I was such a casual back then. I really only watched the fights that I knew about and the fighters that I knew about. After that happened, I was like, you know what? I need to stop whatever sport I'm watching, which at the time was the NFL. And I completely switched to an MMA fan, and I haven't looked back ever since. So Justin Gaethje, I have a lot to thank for you for changing my view on sports and the UFC as a sport, mixed martial arts as a sport. So I just want to say thank you, Justin Gaethje. And going forward in this fight, he might be the biggest threat to Charles Oliveira because of his power, his willingness to go through fire, his ability to scramble through the wrestling takedowns, I guess. What he did with Michael Chandler, he showed that he can get out of those situations. He can scramble out of those situations. He doesn't like to play on the ground, and I think that his wrestling defense and his scrambling abilities could really negate what Charles Oliveira has to offer. But Justin Gaethje's recklessness is what might get him caught. And I know if he watches this, he's going to hate that I even fucking called him reckless. Sorry, dude. But early on in your career, you have shown to, I don't want to say panic, but no, not panic. That's the wrong word. Sorry about that. But he would just get excited and look for that kill. Just go, 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 go without, and then what Trevor Whitman has been able to do with him and be able to take away from that fourth and third gear and keep him on a nice second gear. That power, that X-Factor power, what he's been able to do. I mean, he broke Tony Ferguson. He made Tony Ferguson a different human being. That is not saying little. I mean, what Justin Gaethje has to offer, he is a fucking powerhouse of a human being. He's not just a mixed martial artist. He's a tough motherfucker. And that's what he brings to the table. 19 KOs, the leg kicks, his pure will to live is above most others. He came in just trying to wreck motherfuckers, and it really went to his detriment kind of early on. He had those knockout losses to Dustin Poirier and Eddie Alvarez early on, his first two losses in his career. And then that's where he had to take the step back, like, okay, do I want to just be that entertaining guy, or do I want a title chase? He decided he wanted a fucking title chase. That was the only way he was going to stay in the UFC. So moving forward, he started knocking motherfuckers out. He was patient. He hunted. He did what he had to do. He stalked his prey, and he had the fucking beautiful wins against James Vick, Edson Barbosa, Cowboy, Tony Ferguson. Just one by one, slowly rose back into that lineup. I'd really like to see that Dustin Poirier rematch. I'd really like to see what Justin Gaethje, how he is able to adjust after that first fight with him. That would be very interesting. But I don't know if that's going to happen unless he beats Charles Oliveira. I mean, if he does lose to Charles, I guess you could, because I guess you could say both their last fights were to Charles, and that would be a good fight. But who really knows? But we're not really here to talk about that anyways. So kind of getting back on track here. This fight, you really can't even, it's so hard to pick because what Charles does, he gets his ass kicked for the first round and then he turns it around completely. So, I mean, there's almost a blueprint to how the Charles Oliveira fights have been going the last 4 years and nothing really has changed. But Justin Gaethje just seems to be that anomaly to fuck everything up. Justin Gaethje royally fucked up our opportunity to get Khabib and Tony Ferguson. Just the MMA gods were like, nope, not gonna fucking happen. So to me, this matchup, it is the purest matchup. You're not gonna see Conor McGregor fucking leapfrogging now unless there's some freak injury with Justin Gaethje or if there's a freak injury with Charles Oliveira where they have an interim. We don't really know what's going to happen in the end. MMA is a fucking crazy sport. But if I were to make my true decision, I am a fucking homer on Justin Gaethje, and I am going to pick Justin Gaethje. I am going to go with USA on this one. I think Gaethje will get the job done. I think he'll get the job done early. But I think what he's got to do, he's got to crush the space. He's got to utilize his boxing. He's got to utilize his leg kicks, and he's got to make Charles Oliveira give up. He should not follow Charles on the ground. Once he knocks him down, I can almost guarantee that Gaethje will knock Charles Oliveira down. He's got to be patient. He's got to capitalize on the striking differential that he has with Charles, and I think he can get the job done. But I don't think he's good. I don't think he should get it done by ground and pound. I think he's going to go in there. I think he's going to break his fucking leg. I think he's going to try and break his chin, and he's going to break his will. That is my prediction. That is my breakdown. I've been wrong before. You know, I thought Dustin was going to beat Charles. I thought Chandler was going to beat Charles. So who really knows? Charles always seems to fucking prove me wrong. You would think, you know, I should start betting on him. But honestly, I think Justin Gaethje is that X factor in the lightweight division. I think he is also a new monster on the fact that Charles Oliveira is now a new monster. Even though the fact we got Charles Oliveira, who is the sub finish king, you got Justin Gaethje, who's well on his way to being the entertainment king, the violence king. He could be the KO king if he keeps his shit going. He's young. He's 33. You got Charles, only 32. There's a lot going on, guys, you know. But if you were to put a gun to my head, who's going to win this fight? I got Justin Gaethje. I'm going to ride or die with that motherfucker to the end. But guys, tell me what you think. Leave in the comment section what you guys think that I should do next. Any predictions that you guys want to hear from me in the future. Any breakdowns. Don't forget to like and subscribe, Mr. Mustache MMA News. I'm going to be putting more content out this week. So guys, don't forget, like and subscribe, hit the little bell thing. Thank you. I'm out, Fight fans.